Hey guys, making a new video here. This time I want to talk about settings in Dota and what changes it can make and why you should not be scared to actually try changing something just because you're not used to it. So mostly we're gonna go over some things like quickcast because that's something that a lot of people ask. How and why would you use quickcasts and what makes it better? And people have these assumptions that it's going to be worse because you can't aim your stuff. It always casts immediately, right? Like AoE spells. But we'll go through what I'm using right now because I tried around like 2 months ago with the settings a little bit, and I found some settings that I'm really happy with. So let's look at it. So let's go over the first thing that I mentioned there as well. The quick casts. This is the this is the hardest to explain in the video, I guess, but it's really simple. It's really simple. So when you see my hotkeys here, you can see that everything has Alt and the default hotkey pretty much. And as for my items, you know, everyone has their own inventory hotkeys that feels good to them. Because of how I'm holding my hand, these hotkeys makes a lot of sense to me. Some people think it's really weird when I have 7 as a hotkey, but to me, the way I'm holding my hand, it actually works really well. And 1, 2, and 3 is courier, hero, and my other group. So I don't really want to have something on 3 here. Don't want to sacrifice my group. Either way, don't panic because everything is with Alt. This is the point of my settings. If you look over to the quick cast, this is the default settings, right? Like default hotkeys on everything here. And as for items, it's my item hotkeys with normal, no alt. Bar from 1, this one is empty. And that's because of Force Staff and Teleport Scroll is 2 examples that are not very good to quick cast when you're playing with your inventory. Because if you quick casts, you can't double tap, meaning Force Staff won't actually double tap if you're using quick cast, and Teleport will not TP you to base, it will TP you to the nearest location to where your mouse is hovering. Took me a while before I realized that this setting has to go, so I have one slot where I can put teleports or Force Staff, and you may be like, oh, what if you have both TP and Force Staff? Then I don't really double tap my TP. This is, I guess, the one inconvenience maybe, but I've never experienced any problem with it. And Force Staff is higher priority than having my teleport on double tap. Then I will just click my TP in base. But now we're going over the downsides of these settings before saying anything about what's good about it. So having normal hotkeys on quickcast and alt on the other hotkeys makes it so that if I want to aim a skill or aim an item, I can just hold alt, press the hotkey, and then I will get up the AoE or whatever of the item or skill, meaning I can still aim it. And if I just want to do it fast, I will just press the hotkey hovering over the enemy hero, and it will actually use. So that saves me 1 click for every item that I'm using. Imagine you're playing Tinker. Then I hate you. But imagine you're playing Tinker. You have E-Blade, Dagon, and Hex. You want to blink in, E-Blade, Dagon, Hex someone. That's 8 clicks if you're playing normal. That's 4 clicks with quickcast. You blink in, you E-Blade, Hex, and Dagon. That's just 4 clicks, right? If you're quick casting, because you save the left clicking all the time. Left clicking an enemy hero 3 times in a row while throwing out your spells. If you're not shift queuing this, there's a pretty high chance that you might screw up and might click the enemy hero while not having the item ready, and that would make you select him instead. Then you have to select yourself to get back from. Yeah, it could be really bad. You save that issue by using quick casts, especially on items here. But let's talk about skills, because this is where people really are not too sure about switching to quick cast, because they're like, oh, what if I'm playing Puck, for example, and I want to hit 5 heroes with my ulti. I can see that I should be able to, but I want to see the AoE of it. Like, if you quick casting, you can't see AoE of AoE spells. It will immediately cast, so it never indicates the size of the spell. So my thoughts on that is, if you're trying to aim something so that it hits several people, you're not in a huge rush to do that. if you're in a huge rush, you will just throw your spell without really aiming that much, in which case it's better to have quickcast. But if you're aiming, just hold Alt, press your hotkey, and then you can land it. I played Puck like 50 games on these settings, and to be honest, I think half of the time I don't even use the Alt ulti, because I know the AoE of it pretty well now, so where I'm aiming, it should land. But when I do have time and I see the enemy is pushing, I can aim it, and then blink in and just ulti right on that spot. It's very easy. So I think this is the major part. Having both settings is the thing that makes the most sense. I tried playing with quickcast only, but I found it a little bit lacking when you played stuff like not only Puck. Sometimes you want to aim nicely with, you know, whatever skill really. Hell, even shrapnel, I guess. Anything that's AoE. It's pretty convenient to see the AoE at times. But these settings actually work really well for me. I don't have anything on autocast, don't worry about that. So we talked quite long about these settings. Now I will show you guys later how that works in game, but first I want to go over the rest of the settings that I have. Right here is not too much. This is just preference, like which hotkey you're using for different stuff, and I'm getting used to using quick buy now. I've been late at that, but it's time to get used to it. I have shop on space, but these things are really just preference. If you like something, use it. If you don't like it, never mind. These are not the most important settings. These though are more important. These are the options for in-game. Auto attack, for example, is something that I don't play with. I think that auto attack is worse in pretty much every scenario. I can't think of any scenario apart from the bugged version of your nearest ulti where he would not attack unless you had auto attack on during the ulti, but that was fixed in the first patch, so it doesn't really matter. But I can't think of any scenario where auto attack is really better. If you're chasing someone in Fog of War, you're using attack move, and that's not auto attack, that's attack move. Because if you're moving, then auto attack won't trigger anyway. It's only if you're standing still, and no one stands still when you're chasing an enemy. So auto attack off to me makes a lot more sense. It makes it easier to hide if you're on a cliff or whatever. You don't have to spam the stop key 1,000 times just to not reveal your location. And it can also save you from some stupid mess ups. Other than that, auto purchase items I think is really bad because you don't want that. That would sometimes put you without buyback money, and that's horrible, really horrible. Don't use this. Don't ever use this. Auto set summons, you can use that if you want to. It doesn't matter too much because I'm using unified unit orders. So as soon as I summon, I just hold control. This is what unified unit orders mean. If you hold control, you will move every single unit that you control. So you don't actually have to select them. And this is really convenient when playing micro-intense heroes. I play a lot of Meepo. I play some Brewmaster every now and then, and yeah, pretty much any hero. Broodmother, for example, is a really good hero to have this setting on, because you can so easily surround the enemy if you're using unified unit orders. You just have to kind of walk close to them with control, and your spiders will automatically kind of zoom in around them, and then you just hold position and attack them. That's a side trap though. Double tap ability to self-cast. I don't use this. Some people say that you do. I think it's sort of bad. Sometimes you don't really want the setting to be on, and that might just be me, but when I'm in a rush to do something, like in a team fight, and you see that, oh, this guy needs a grave right now, there's a pretty high chance that I will click the grave hotkey more than once. And especially using quickcast, I'm just hovering over the target and spamming a hotkey. So this makes sense if you're very calm and you only click the hotkey once, always. But that doesn't work for me. I've done so many stupid mistakes, repelling myself when I shouldn't, teleporting to myself with Furion. Fuck this setting, I'm not playing with it. Teleport requires stop. This is a good setting in my opinion. You don't mess up TPs no matter what. Some people say, oh, you can just shift Q, but yeah, sometimes you shift Q and then you accidentally press something. Teleport requires stop. It makes a lot of sense. If you don't want a TP, you will press the stop or the halt button. Any of those two will stop it. Else, even a simple move click or any hotkey click will stop it, but it doesn't with this. Highlight hero doesn't really matter. Showing player names, showing hit points over health bar. This is nice actually, you should use this. Shop always uses hotkeys. Some players don't use this, and I don't really understand why, because you can be so much faster in the shop using hotkeys, I think. I can also show this later, how it looks when I'm going into a shop, but I think it's pretty effective to use the hotkeys. Other than that, there's not too much to say here. Don't have screen shake on, it's a bad thing. Don't have move camera on respawn, because it can mess up a lot of things. If you're watching a team fight and you're buybacking and then suddenly camera switches over to your base and you were ready to click your TP to base, yeah, it could be bad. Nothing else here worth mentioning, I guess. Yeah, this is just things, and this is just video and audio. Doesn't really matter at all. There's nothing special here. So let's go into a lobby right now. I can show you guys what I meant with the settings. I'm gonna put G's on so I can display it faster. So settings, that said though, settings don't make the biggest difference. Like, I'm making an entire video here about something that's very trivial, to be honest. It can maybe save you a little bit of time sometime, like maybe once a game it will make a difference. At most. It's not a big thing. Play to something that fits you, something that works well for you.
I am known as Puck.
But the most important thing is to not be scared of looking around and changing your settings. If something doesn't work, then you should change your settings.
For battle.
That's really important.
Blink, Dagger.
We can level up to 25 here. Just gonna show you what it means to use quickcast as opposed to a normal cast.
Exactly so.
This is my blink. Oh yeah, we can. Now we have it.
Very well.
On no cooldown. So this is my hotkey that is normal cast. So you can see the aim as soon as I click it. But blink now is just an instant. As soon as I click the hotkey,
30 seconds
it will blink.
Battle.
And that's really convenient sometimes.
Indeed.
But for ulti, if I just click it, it's
Gather
gonna
round.
ulti. And this takes some getting used to. If you don't know the AoE really well of different spells, you might miss a lot. But you can also know the AoE of spells pretty well by just alt-clicking the spell and then use it. So the settings I have, I think, are really effective. Because if I'm hiding and the enemy is pushing mid, and I see like, okay, they're right there, I can aim this, then blink in and just click it. I don't even have to alt-click it when I blink in, because if I aim, I see exactly, okay, there, I got them. And you just click so that you're ready to move there, and just instant blink in.
Commendable notion.
And the main part about quickcast is that it saves you clicks. It saves you a lot of left clicks. Illusory orb, that's a left click right there, just to get it out where you want to.
Greetings.
Blink is the same thing. Ulti is the same thing.
Stay near.
So a simple blink in, ulti, illusory orb, whamming rift, and face. Well, normally you would whamming rift first.
Stay near.
Doesn't really matter. Just that simple combination is already 3 clicks saved from you if you're using quickcast as opposed to not using it.
Very well.
And I'm not saying it makes the biggest difference. I'm not trying to convince everyone that holy shit, this is so much better.
Exactly so.
Of course you can play with normal settings. I mean, there's tons of people who do. I'm just saying that to me it's really convenient and works really well. So don't be scared to try it out. And if you don't like it, you can still just use normal hotkeys with alt as well, which is not too hard.
Silence, silence.
And same thing with my blink. If I want to blink, I could hold it.
I venture
Enough about that. That's quickcast for you and my thoughts on that.
Haste.
As for the hotkeys, this is how it looks when I go into my shop. And I use this grid, which is, as opposed to this one, they're different. You can see more items at the same time here, but the shop hotkey doesn't work on it. So you have to actually click every item that you want to buy. The shop hotkeys are maybe customizable through settings in console. I think you could actually customize them, but other than that, they're pretty horrible, to be honest, because when it goes up to 9, 0, and then this, I don't even have this, you know, this is down here, this is next to my shift.
I go at
it's not in a straight line, so buying the lower items, I always move the mouse there. But for stuff like just buying a dust, you know, you will just click the hotkey. If I want to buy pour my shield, I can buy it quickly in components. I don't have to actually go and click to buy stuff. And this is what has saved me all the times that I have not used my quick buy. I should get used to using this as well because it's a good thing.
With alacrity.
Right now I have the hotkey for that on T. Oh yeah. What? Why does it say this item? What?
Commendable
Are you kidding? That's an interesting bug, Dora. Apparently we're not allowed to buy power treads now. Item is not allowed for this hero. It's probably because we bought so many items and they're filling up. Yeah, it is. The ground is just filled up and we can't buy more items. Nice little cheat fix. But I think that's all. I think that's all that there is to it. These settings are, to me, really effective. I can look through if I want to. Of course, I can go in and click and buy them here. But very many items I will find myself purchasing just by clicking the hotkeys. And I know quite well which number they're on now. So I think this is a little bit faster. A little bit faster. Also, if you go to the secret shop, of course, it's going to open up with hotkeys.
With alacrity.
But there's nothing more to it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm sorry there was nothing really super important in this video. But if it helped you, leave a response either here or come to my Twitch when I'm streaming. You can send me a message there, or on my Twitter, wherever. You guys know how to contact me. It's not that hard.
I go at will.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video about settings.